Here are some of the tools and supplies you will need when you go to install drapery. A drill, ideally it's cordless, drill bits, screws and plugs for all sorts of surfaces, hand tools, a metal tape measure, a laser measure for certain applications, extension cord, a ladder, and a laser level, ideally on a tripod. And please note that there are some tripods on the market that can go as tall as 16 feet. The other items you will need will be eye screws, a pencil, needle nose pliers, a small hammer just for tapping, a pair of scissors, a drop cloth, gloves in case your hands have any burrs or anything that can snag on the fabric, as well as an envelope with some painter's tape so you can tape that to the wall so when you're drilling the drywall dust goes into the envelope. You could use a paper plate or something similar for mounting plugs into the ceiling. You might also want to bring some indoor shoes as they're far more comfortable when you have to climb ladders. It's a good idea to speak with the designer before you install to make sure that you're both on the same page with the installation. Here's just another example of some drapes that have been recently installed, have been bound for 5 days, and again there are going to be some creases there, but not to worry, those will fall out in time. It is a critical step training the drapery. Now it's time to go install the pleated drapery. Take a look in the box with the drape in it and locate that sheet that has all this information that we will need. Same as before, go ahead and measure the space to ensure that the drapes are going to fit properly. We're just going to take a quick measurement on the width and the height and double check that everything was ordered correctly. Now let's go take a look at the hardware. The tall part's going to be the front, the lower part's going to be the back. And if I'm trying to just put this in and squeezing it and it's not catching, the reason is that there's this little black clicker thing at the bottom. So just pull that out and you'll be able to squeeze it in and snap it into place. We want this about 4 inches. 4 inches to the center. Look at that. Go ahead and position the other bracket on the other side 4 inches away from the end, and then position any other brackets spaced evenly between them. Now we're about to put this up on the ceiling, and we want to make sure to take a look at the length of the return that was ordered. So if I want my returns at 3.5 inches from the center of the track towards the wall, I want that at 3.25, so there's a 1/4 inch ease when it's installed, which means that I have to have the back of the bracket here 2 inches away from the wall. Go ahead and mark on the ceiling where the brackets are going to be. In this case, I'm going to be installing plugs, and I want to make sure that the drywall dust is going to be caught, as it makes a much easier cleanup. It will be a lot easier for you to have an assistant holding the rail while you're putting the screws in. Once it's installed, don't be surprised if the rail wants to shift back and forth a little bit. That is totally normal. Once the caps are put on, this will lock it in position. Once you're done with the hardware, make sure to wash your hands before touching the drapery. This is going to be on the leading edge here, and this metal pin is going to go back towards the wall as a return for this one-way draw. Go ahead and put the weight of the drape over your shoulder while you're hooking the drapery into the rail. The hooks will be preset at the right height to fit the hardware correctly. If you find a hook has moved, you can easily just take it all the way off and then position it at the top and slide it down to the correct height. So these you can just pick up at a hardware store, and this is going to go into the wall and this is going to hook into it, and we can adjust the position of this if needed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this and tap it and then screw it in. This is going to prevent the light from bleeding into the room. Just like that. Take my hook, hook it into it, just like so. It's time to bind the drapes. If you have a drape about the same width as what I'm working with, you can just take the bag that the drape came in and slice off some sections. If it's quite a wide drape, you can cut the bag in the opposite direction and then tape it to make the circle. So here, we want to make sure that the buckram is bent towards the window. If we were ever covering hardware, like the basic track, it would come forward. This all goes towards the window. This is going to ensure a tighter stack. From here, we want to make sure that the lining isn't coming separate from the face fabric. Just slide my hand in behind the existing pleats, giving it some form. I'm going to just do right below, making sure to carry on those existing pleats at the top. This is how pleating is done. You want the best look for your drapes. Fabric has a tendency to dance around, and so it's important that we don't do too much at a time. We have full control of the pleats all the way down. It's important that this is put down all the way to the very bottom, because anything below this will dance. Now the homeowner will leave it here for 5 days, and as it acclimates to the humidity and the new environment, it'll start softening and stretching out and relaxing. This is how pleating is done. The drapes will stay bound for the next 5 days. After that, the homeowner can go ahead and remove the plastic and draw the drapes across. Most fabrics take 3 to 4 weeks to fully acclimate and relax. However, some fabrics can take a few months. Ensure to take photos of your work, ideally before and after photos, with your camera down lower for the best angle. This helps create a portfolio for yourself, for the designer, and of course the business.